Have you ever been in a room with someone and felt a strange kind of tension, like something unspoken is hanging in the air pressing against your chest, but neither of you dares to say it out loud? Maybe it's the way she looks at you when you're not watching, or the way her energy changes when you walk into the room. She laughs a little louder, touches her hair a little more, asks questions she never asked before. But then she pulls back, goes cold, talks about another guy, acts indifferent, and you're left wondering, am I imagining things? Or is there something real here? As a man, especially in today's world, it can feel almost impossible to decipher these signals. You've been taught to suppress your instincts, to second guess your intuition. You don't want to misread her. Don't want to be the guy who assumes too much. But what if I told you that sometimes when a woman wants you the most, she hides it the deepest? That craving, that desire, it doesn't always show up as obvious flirtation. Sometimes it's buried under fear, shame, pride, or past pain. You need to learn to see what's behind the mask. Because some of you are walking away from connection that's right in front of you just because it doesn't look the way you expected it to. This is about knowing the difference between fantasy and reality and recognizing the signs of a woman who's craving you, but hiding it. When a woman is genuinely craving your presence, she may not always say it with words. Sometimes it shows in how she organizes her world around you, without ever directly admitting that you're the reason why. She'll say she's busy, that she's got too much going on, but then somehow she still shows up. She makes time. Late night texts, quick calls between meetings. Maybe she shows up at the same place as you go by accident. That's not coincidence. That's intentional, because when a woman desires a man but doesn't feel safe revealing it, she'll still let her actions betray her heart. Now, let's be real. A woman who's emotionally guarded will never risk being too available. She wants to protect her pride. She's testing if you're going to notice the cracks in her wall. If you're going to step into the little space she's opened without barging in and breaking down the whole door, she might cancel plans with others but keep yours. She might claim she's exhausted, but somehow finds a burst of energy just for you. And then when she's with you, she'll pretend it's nothing, laugh off the effort. It's no big deal, she'll say. But it is. It's a very big deal. Men often miss this because we've been trained to expect affection to look like drama, like passion, like constant texting and confessions. But real desire, especially when it's tangled up in fear or uncertainty, can be quiet, subtle, almost invisible. That's why you've got to slow down, watch, listen. Notice the small things. Does she linger a little longer on the phone than necessary? Does she ask about your schedule, your plans, under the guise of small talk? These aren't just friendly habits. These are quiet invitations. But she won't say it out loud because she doesn't want to be too eager. In her mind, that makes her vulnerable. And let's not forget, many women have been burned before. She's seen what happens when she gives too much. So now she's cautious, but still craving. The question you need to ask yourself isn't, is she making a grand gesture? It's, is she carving out space for me in a life that's already full? That's a true sign, because people prioritize what they care about. And when she starts bending her world, just slightly, to include you, she's already told you everything. She just hasn't said it yet. But here's the thing, don't rush in and try to name it. Don't pressure her into admitting something she's still wrestling with herself. Hold space for it. Be consistent. Be present. Let her know she doesn't have to pretend around you. That's when the mask starts to fall away. And what's left is a woman who's not just curious about you, she's craving something deeper, something real. And she's hoping quietly, carefully, that you'll be strong enough to see it before she talks herself out of wanting it at all. Let's talk about energy, not the kind you measure in calories or hours of sleep, but the energy that moves between two people. It's the look in her eyes when you enter the room. It's the way her posture changes, the way her voice softens or sharpens, the way her guard comes up just as quickly as it slips. See, when a woman is craving you but trying to hide it, her entire being will respond to your presence and then fight itself to bury the reaction. She may act cold, detached, almost disinterested, but look closer. The nervous laughter, the sudden silence, the way she fidgets with her hair, her jewelry, her phone, those aren't random. That's the storm beneath the calm. Because when a woman is drawn to you, her body will often betray what her words try to conceal. She becomes hyper aware of you. Your presence alters the rhythm of her day. And yet, she'll try to convince both you and herself that she doesn't feel it, that nothing is happening. Why? Because desire is vulnerable, especially for women who've been hurt, especially for women who've had their emotions used against them. So she represses it, she pretends, she redirects. She'll talk about how annoying you are, tease you, call you just a friend. But her eyes will tell a different story. Her eyes will search yours when you're not looking. Her laughter will come half a second too late, because she's busy thinking about what it means to be this drawn to someone she told herself she wouldn't fall for. This is where most men fail to see what's really going on. You get caught up in what she says instead of what she emits. You believe the cool exterior, the sarcasm, the deflection. But if you tuned into your instincts, really listened to the shift in the air when you're near her, you'd realize she's constantly battling herself. She wants to feel safe with you. She wants to let go, but she doesn't trust it yet. So she hides the spark, hoping you don't notice and secretly hoping you do. You may walk into a room and notice she becomes quieter, more reserved. You think you've done something wrong. But sometimes that silence isn't rejection, it's restraint. She's feeling too much. She's thinking too hard. She's over-analyzing every word she might say next because somewhere inside her, you've already started to matter. That's terrifying for someone who's used to holding it all together. So she pulls back, not because she feels nothing, but because she feels everything. The lesson here is to read beyond the surface. She might not flirt like the others. She might not throw herself at you or fill your inbox with heart emojis. But if her energy changes when you're near, if she stiffens, brightens, hesitates, smiles for no reason, or seems a little too sarcastic when you tease her, don't be so quick to dismiss it. That's tension. That's chemistry trying to break through armor, and your job isn't to bulldoze through it, but to meet it with awareness, calmness, confidence, to give her the emotional permission to breathe around you, to be seen without judgment. That's what builds trust. That's what brings the real connection to the surface. Don't chase the version of attraction that's loud, dramatic, or instant. Real desire often enters quietly. It masks itself in denial, confusion, or even fear. But if you learn to pay attention to how a woman's energy changes around you, even when her words deny it, you'll begin to see the truth. Not the truth she tells the world, but the one her body speaks in whispers. The truth that says, I want you, but I'm scared to want you. And that's not weakness, that's depth. That's someone who's waiting to feel emotionally safe before letting go. The question is, can you be the kind of man who makes her feel safe enough to stop pretending she doesn't crave you? This one is going to sting a little, because it's easy to misread, easy to take personally. But I need you to sit with it without ego, because it reveals something so many men overlook. When a woman is craving you but hiding it, one of the most confusing things she might do is try to provoke jealousy. Not to be cruel, not to manipulate, but because she's trying to stir something in you, trying to see if you even care. It's a twisted form of emotional communication, especially when she feels uncertain about your feelings. She won't say, I want you to notice me, but she'll mention another man, casually, subtly, sometimes repeatedly. And if you're not grounded, if you're ruled by insecurity, you'll assume she's trying to push you away. You'll get angry. You'll withdraw. You'll try to act like you don't care. And just like that, you both retreat into silence and something real dies before it had the chance to live. But let's take a step back. Why would a woman do this? Why would someone who desires you bring up other men? It's simple. She's testing the emotional temperature of the room. She wants to know if she exists in your world or if she's just another passing thought. And because she doesn't feel safe enough to ask directly, she uses indirect tactics. She plays with contrast. She inserts tension. She tries to wake you up. And here's what most men don't realize for a woman, especially a high-value, emotionally complex woman. Showing desire outright can feel like surrender, like risk, like giving away power. So instead, she reaches for what she can control, a story, a name, a compliment about someone else. She doesn't want to hurt you, but she wants to matter to you. And in her mind, making you feel a little uncomfortable is better than continuing to feel invisible. You might hear her talk about the guy at work who's so funny, or she might joke about someone hitting on her at the gym. She's watching your face, watching your body language, looking for a flicker of something, annoyance, protectiveness, even sarcasm, because in that flicker, she finds proof that she's not just imagining the connection. Now, does this mean she's right to do it? Not necessarily. Emotional immaturity doesn't justify emotional games, but it does give you insight. And for men who are serious about becoming emotionally intelligent and grounded, you must learn to respond, not react. The immature man will try to one-up her, brag about his options, try to outplay the game. But the grounded man, the high-value man, he doesn't flinch. He sees what she's doing, and instead of rising to the bait, he names the energy, gently, firmly. He might say, interesting that you brought him up. What are you really trying to say? Not with accusation, but with curiosity, with depth. That level of emotional clarity disarms the mask. It makes her feel seen and safe, and maybe she'll brush it off, laugh, say, oh, I was just joking. But inside, she'll feel relief. Relief that she doesn't have to keep trying to get your attention through sideways glances and subtle digs. Relief that you actually see her. Understand this: when a woman is craving you but suppressing it, she's constantly battling the fear of irrelevance, of being invisible to the one person she wishes would just look closer. So sometimes she pushes you, not to drive you away, but to see if you'll stay, to see if you'll notice her reaching, even when her hands are hidden behind pride. The real challenge for you as a man is to rise above the surface behavior, to hear what isn't being said, to realize that behind that jealousy game is a woman who's acting to be claimed, not controlled, not dominated, but chosen. She wants to feel significant in your world. She wants to know that she's not just another option, that she moves something in you. And when you can respond to that without drama or defensiveness, you send a message far louder than any game could deliver. You tell her, I see you, and I'm not afraid of what's real. And trust me, when a woman craving you feels seen instead of provoked, the mask starts to fall. And what's left isn't a game, it's a doorway. There's something deeply revealing about what a woman remembers, especially when she's trying to act like you're just another guy. You see, when a woman is craving you but trying to hide it, her mind becomes a vault of your words, your stories, your habits, things you said once in passing, things you barely remember saying suddenly show up in conversations weeks later, and you're left wondering, how did she remember that? But here's what's really happening. You matter more than she wants to admit. Let me break this down. A woman's attention is precious. She doesn't give it freely to just anyone. And in a world where she's constantly filtering, constantly protecting herself, constantly managing emotional noise, if she's remembering you, it's because you've already carved out space in her psyche. That space doesn't happen by accident. It happens when her emotions are stirred, when her curiosity is piqued, when something about you slips past her defenses. Now, she may not bring it up directly. She may mention it like it's casual. Didn't you say your mom's birthday is coming up? How did your meeting go on Tuesday? You sounded nervous about it last week. And you're thinking, I don't remember saying that. But she does. She was listening, not just hearing. And that's not just friendliness, that's investment, emotional investment. The kind that often grows silently in the shadows of pride or fear. Why doesn't she just say she cares? Why doesn't she admit that she's emotionally tuned into you? The answer is simple, because she doesn't know if it's safe to care. In her world, caring too quickly can be dangerous. It invites disappointment. It exposes vulnerability. And if she's been in relationships where her emotional openness was used against her, she's going to be very careful about showing her hand. So instead, she'll let you see the evidence, but not the confession. She'll remember your favorite drink, your childhood story, that weird hobby you mentioned once. She's not doing this out of politeness. She's doing it because your world has started to matter in hers. That's a sign, a powerful one, that craving is present, even if it's cloaked in control. And here's where most men miss the mark. They brush it off. They don't realize the emotional labor behind remembering. Especially for a woman who's juggling 10 things at once, who's used to being emotionally self-sufficient, who tells herself she's fine being alone. If you're the detail she's holding on to in a crowded mind, you are not just a friend. You are not just someone she chats with. You've become emotionally significant. So what do you do with that information? You acknowledge it, not with arrogance, but with appreciation. You say, wow, I can't believe you remembered that. Or that actually means a lot. You mirror back the intimacy she's offering even in its quiet form. Because every time she remembers something small, she's giving you a piece of emotional real estate she could have saved for herself. And she's watching how you respond, watching if you see it, if you value it, or if you treat it like nothing. Here's the deeper truth. Brother people don't remember what doesn't move them. And women, especially emotionally attuned women, do not hold on to random facts for no reason. If she's storing you in her memory, it's because she's trying carefully, quietly to create meaning around you. Even if her lips are silent, her recall is loud. So stop underestimating the power of small things. When a woman recalls the parts of you that even you forgot, she's not just curious, she's connected. And she's hoping, more than she'll ever say out loud, that you'll see the thread she's leaving behind. The thread that says, you matter to me. I just don't know how to tell you yet. And that's your moment, not to press, not to corner her into confessing something she's not ready to say, but to honor the space she's given you, to show her through presence and patience that you see the emotional breadcrumbs she's leaving behind. Because sometimes craving doesn't scream. Sometimes it remembers. There's a moment that almost every man misreads, and it costs him the very woman he's been hoping to get close to. It's that moment when she challenges you, not rudely, not disrespectfully, but emotionally. She asks hard questions. She pokes at your beliefs. She holds you accountable. And for a second, you feel attacked. You feel misunderstood. Maybe you think, why is she making this difficult? But what she's really doing is checking your strength. See, when a woman is craving you but hiding it, there's an internal war playing out. One part of her wants to lean in, to let go, to trust. But the other part, the part shaped by past heartbreak, by broken promises, by men who look strong but turned out hollow, that part needs to be sure, not just of your attraction, not just your charm. But of your emotional spine, she needs to know, can you stand firm in discomfort? Can you hold your ground without becoming defensive or cruel? Can you handle her truth, not just her beauty? So she tests, not to be manipulative, but to protect her heart, because craving you for her isn't just about chemistry, it's about safety. And safety isn't proven when things are easy. It's proven when tension rises and you don't collapse under it. She may question something you said. She may call out your inconsistencies. She may say things that sting a little, like you say you want a deep connection, but you're emotionally unavailable, or you act confident, but I think you're just guarded. And you'll feel the urge to fight back, to defend, to push her away before she exposes more than you're ready to see. But here's the truth, brother. The woman who desires you deeply doesn't just want access to your body, she wants access to your core. And she's trying to find out if you've even met that part of yourself. Because she's not looking for a boy in a man's body. She's not looking for a smooth talker. She's looking for someone who can lead emotionally, someone who can sit in the fire with her and not flinch. So when she pushes you, when she digs deeper, it's not because she wants to fight. It's because she wants to feel. She wants to see what lies beneath your surface. And in that moment, she's watching everything, your posture, your tone, your energy. She's asking, can I bring my full self here and not be punished for it? Can I show my chaos and not be made to feel like a burden? Most men fail this test because they think it's about power. They think they need to win the argument or put her in her place. But the real strength is in staying grounded, in saying, I hear you, even when your ego is bruised, in asking, tell me more, even when you feel exposed. That's what breaks her walls. Not dominance, not charm, depth. The men who succeed in these moments, who truly earn a woman's vulnerability, are the ones who refuse to be shaken by her storms, who welcome her fire without needing to extinguish it, because they understand if she's challenging you, it's because she cares. If she didn't, she'd walk away. She'd stay silent. She'd never ask you to grow. So don't resent the woman who confronts you with truth. Don't retreat from the one who refuses to let you hide. If she's challenging you, it's because she sees something in you, something worth fighting for. She's craving the part of you that's honest, stable, unshakable. And if you rise to meet her there, not with anger, but with openness, you don't just earn her attention, you earn her trust. And trust for a woman who's been hiding her desire is the very thing that unlocks the craving she's kept buried. So the next time she pushes, don't pull away. Look her in the eyes, listen, and show her without ever raising your voice that you are the kind of man who can handle her, all of her. This is the quietest sign of all, the one that slips right past most men. It's not loud, it's not flirtatious. In fact, it looks exactly like kindness, like politeness, like something you could explain away with. She's just being sweet. But make no mistake, when a woman is craving you and hiding it, she'll start to build space for you in her life. Little invitations, subtle efforts, a consistent presence, all wrapped in the innocence of friendship. And here's the trap: you might miss it because it doesn't come with fanfare. It comes with an offer to help you move, a text to check if you're okay, a sudden interest in things you care about. She'll offer to bring you food when you're sick, invite you to something small with her friends, ask how your big meeting went. And you'll tell yourself, she's just nice. This doesn't mean anything, but that's the lie you use to protect yourself from hope. Because deep down you feel it too. You feel how intentional it is, how she never forgets the dates that matter to you, how she always seems to be available when you need support, how she remembers that your sister was in the hospital or that your car was in the shop. And yet she'll never call it what it is, she'll downplay it. Oh, I was just in the neighborhood. I just thought you'd like this. Don't read into it. But here's what you need to understand. Women don't accidentally make room in their lives for men they're not emotionally drawn to. We live in a world where women are overwhelmed by schedules, obligations, emotional labor. If she's carving out time for you, checking in with you, showing up for you in ways that feel more intimate than surface level kindness, you need to pay attention. That's not random, that's presence. And presence is the love language of women who are afraid to speak their desire out loud. She's craving you, she's hoping you notice, but she's also scared. Scared of rejection, scared of looking foolish. Scared that if she says, I want more, you won't feel the same. So she hides her yearning behind logistics, behind convenience. She makes herself useful, not because she wants to be your assistant, but because being close to you in any way is better than not being near you at all. And here's the beautiful, heartbreaking truth sometimes. She's offering you her heart without even realizing it herself. She thinks she's being practical. She tells herself it's just compassion, but her actions are intimate. Her energy is invested. Her care is consistent. These are not things women give lightly, especially not to men they see as temporary. If she's letting you into her life, her real life, not just her social media highlight reel, it means you've already taken up emotional space in her. The mistake most men make here is waiting for a more obvious sign. They want the grand confession, the clear flirtation, the unmistakable green light. But in the real world, especially with emotionally guarded women, that's not how it works. She doesn't want to risk everything just to satisfy your ego. She wants to feel safe before she unfolds. So she gives what she can. She gives consistency, thoughtfulness, small acts of devotion. And the question is, are you man enough to recognize that as love in its earliest form? Because this is your invitation, brother. Not just to take more from her, but to meet her in that space, to stop pretending she's just being nice, to gently reflect what you see. You always show up for me, and I don't take that lightly, to match her effort, to offer your own kind of emotional presence, not as a strategy, but as a signal. A signal that says you don't have to keep pretending, I feel it too. When a woman is craving you but hiding it, she'll test the waters with her time, her attention, her loyalty. Don't wait for a neon sign. Respect what she's risking just to be close to you. Because if you can recognize the love hiding behind her helpfulness and honor it with your own steady truth, you'll give her the one thing she's been longing for all along: permission to stop hiding.